Yemen. Look it up on a map. Got it? Good. Now let's dive into its complex history. Okay, now picture a place that's been fought over for, well, basically forever. Ancient empires, religious divides, you name it, Yemen's seen it. From the ancient Sabaeans to the Ottomans, everyone wanted a piece of Yemen. Fast forward to the 20th century, and you've got North Yemen, South Yemen, then finally a united Yemen in 1990. But unity on paper doesn't always mean unity in reality. Problem solved? Hold my cart. Unity didn't magically erase decades of division, poverty, and simmering resentment. The scars of past conflicts and economic struggles were still very much present. Enter the Houthi movement in the early 2000s, a group with grievances against the government. They weren't exactly fans of the president at the time, Ali Abdullah Saleh. Their discontent was a ticking time bomb. Think of it as a really intense family feud, except with more guns and a lot less holiday cheer. The conflict escalated quickly, with both sides digging in their heels. Fast forward again to 2011, and Yemen gets swept up in the Arab Spring. Protests, instability, and Saleh eventually steps down. The hope for change was palpable, but the reality was far more complicated. Progress, right? Wrong. A new guy, Abdrabbu Mansour Hadi, takes over, but the country is already on shaky ground. His leadership faced immediate challenges, and the divisions only deepened. Enter stage left, a civil war that explodes in 2014, dragging in regional powers and turning Yemen into a proxy battleground for, well, that's for another section. The conflict became a magnet for external interests. The point is, understanding the Red Sea crisis means understanding Yemen's messy history. This isn't just about shipping lanes, it's about deep-seated issues that have been brewing for decades. The geopolitical stakes are incredibly high, and spoilers, there are no easy answers. The complexities of Yemen's situation defy simple solutions, making it one of the most challenging crises of our time. Alright, let's talk geography. The Red Sea. Picture a narrow, strategically vital body of water connecting the Mediterranean Sea to the Indian Ocean via the Suez Canal. Got it? Good. Now imagine it's basically the world's busiest shipping lane, with oil tankers, cargo ships, and probably the occasional lost rubber ducky all vying for space. Why should you care? Because a huge chunk of global trade, like the stuff you probably buy on Amazon, passes through this watery highway. We're talking oil, electronics, clothes, coffee beans for those of us who haven't succumbed to our robot overlords yet. You know, the essentials. Now imagine someone starts throwing a tantrum in that shipping lane. Not just any tantrum, but one involving warships, missiles, and the constant threat of things going boom. That's the Red Sea crisis in a nutshell. Suddenly that cheap t-shirt you ordered online is looking a lot more expensive, and your morning coffee might require a side of geopolitical intrigue. Remember the Ever Given, that giant container ship that got stuck sideways in the Suez Canal back in 2021? The internet sure had a field day with that one. Well, the Red Sea crisis is like that, but instead of one ship, it's the potential for constant disruption, skyrocketing shipping costs, and global supply chains going haywire. Think about it. Every time a tanker has to take a detour because of the threat of pirates or, actual missiles, prices go up. That extra cost gets passed down to you, the consumer, in the form of more expensive everything. And it's not just about money. Delays mean shortages, and shortages mean people who need essential goods like, say, medicine, might not get them. So, yeah, the Red Sea crisis isn't just some abstract geopolitical squabble happening on the other side of the world. It's a slow-burning economic and humanitarian disaster that's already impacting all of us, whether we realize it or not. Okay, let's talk about the Houthis, those rebels causing all the ruckus in Yemen. They're often portrayed as just Iran's puppets, but the truth is a bit more complicated. See, they're a Zaidi Shia Muslim group from northern Yemen, and they've had beef with the government for ages. They claim they're fighting against corruption, marginalization, and foreign interference, which, to be fair, is a pretty accurate description of Yemen's recent history. Of course, things aren't that simple. The Houthis have been accused of human rights abuses. They've definitely made the whole situation a lot more volatile, and their tactics in the Red Sea, like attacking ships and planting mines, aren't exactly winning them any peace prizes. They're a complex group with their own internal divisions and motivations, and understanding them is key to understanding the mess that is Yemen today. Section 5. Iran's long game checkers or 5D chess. Now let's talk about Iran, the regional heavyweight often accused of being the puppet master behind the Houthi rebels. This Middle Eastern nation has long been a significant player in the region's complex political landscape. Iran denies directly controlling the Houthis, but they do provide them with support like weapons and training. Why? The answer lies in Iran's broader strategic goals. Well, for Iran, it's all about projecting power, countering Saudi Arabia's influence in the region, and sticking it to the West, particularly the United States. This is a multifaceted approach to ensure their dominance and safeguard their interests. Think of it like a giant game of geopolitical chess, with Iran using the Houthis as their pawns to advance their own agenda. Each move is calculated to maximize their influence while minimizing direct confrontation. By supporting the Houthis, Iran can bleed Saudi Arabia dry in a costly war, disrupt global trade flowing through the Red Sea, and generally make everyone's lives more difficult. This strategy serves multiple purposes, from economic disruption to political leverage. It's a risky strategy, but one that has yielded some benefits for Iran so far. They have managed to extend their reach and create a buffer against their adversaries. The problem is, this kind of proxy warfare just makes the whole situation messier and more dangerous. The region becomes a tinderbox, ready to ignite at any moment. It's like trying to put out a grease fire with gasoline. It might seem like a good idea at the time, but it's only going to make things worse in the long run. The consequences of these actions are far-reaching, affecting not just the immediate players, but the global community as well. Okay, enough about geopolitics. Let's talk about you, the average person just trying to get through the day. Remember those supply chains we talked about earlier? Yeah, they're starting to feel the heat. That shortage of your favorite brand of coffee? Blame the Red Sea crisis? The price of gas going up again? Yup, that too. See, when ships can't get through the Red Sea without risking a pirate attack or, becoming collateral damage in a proxy war, it creates a domino effect that ripples throughout the global economy. Prices go up, shelves start to look a little bare, and suddenly that vacation you were planning seems like a distant dream. And let's not forget about the human cost. Yemen, already one of the poorest countries in the world, is bearing the brunt of this crisis. Millions are facing famine, healthcare is practically non-existent, and the situation is getting worse by the day. So what's being done to solve this whole Red Sea mess? Well, there have been attempts at peace talks, but they usually go about as well as a vegan barbecue at a meatpacking plant. Everyone says they want peace, but nobody can agree on what that actually looks like. The Houthis want the Saudis to lift their blockade on Yemen and for the internationally recognized government to step down. The Saudis want the Houthis to stop attacking them and cut ties with Iran. Iran, meanwhile, is just chilling on the sidelines, denying any involvement while simultaneously supplying the Houthis with the means to keep fighting. It's a classic case of everyone wanting their cake and eating it too, with the added bonus of innocent civilians getting caught in the crossfire. Until there's a real commitment to dialogue, compromise, and addressing the root causes of the conflict, those peace talks are just going to be an expensive exercise in futility. The Red Sea crisis is complicated, messy, and frankly deeply depressing. But here's the thing, ignoring it won't make it go away. In fact, it demands our attention more than ever. In fact, it'll probably just make things worse, exacerbating the suffering and instability. So what can be done? What steps can we take to address this crisis effectively? First, we need to acknowledge that there's no quick fix. This is a multifaceted issue that requires a comprehensive approach. This isn't a problem that can be solved with a drone strike or a strongly worded letter. It demands sustained effort and genuine commitment. It requires a long-term commitment to diplomacy, humanitarian aid, and addressing the underlying issues that led to the conflict in the first place. This means understanding the root causes and working towards sustainable solutions. Second, we need to stop treating Yemen like a sideshow in a larger geopolitical game. The stakes are too high for such negligence. The people of Yemen deserve better than to be pawns in a proxy war between regional powers. Their humanity must be recognized and respected. Their lives and livelihoods are at stake, and their voices need to be heard. We must amplify their stories and struggles. Finally, we need to realize that this isn't just a them problem. It's a crisis that affects us all. The Red Sea crisis is a global problem with far-reaching consequences, from supply chain disruptions to increased fuel prices. The ripple effects are felt worldwide. It's in everyone's best interest to find a peaceful resolution, and that starts with understanding the complexities of the conflict and demanding better from our leaders. We must hold them accountable and push for meaningful action. And there you have it. A crash course in the Red Sea crisis. It's complicated, it's messy, and it's probably not going away anytime soon. But hey, at least you can now impress your friends with your newfound knowledge of Yemeni politics and the geopolitical importance of a narrow body of water on the other side of the world. You're welcome.